In a world still chasing economic justice, one voice rises to inspire change. From the streets to the boardrooms, from ideas to real action, Cornell Cruz Jr. invites you to listen, learn, and transform. Drawn from the people, the community, always present, always pushing forward. Together we build opportunity, we build trust, and we build a just economy for all. This is the Just Economy Project, where equity has a sound, and the future begins with you.
And welcome back to the Just Economy Podcast. We're interviewing Alexa Diaz Formidoni today with Be Better Together. Her organization provides services to get us in the right, and when I'm talking about social impact organizations, get us in the right frame of mind to attract corporate donors, corporate volunteers, corporate investment in our organizations who are doing all this great work in the community. So Alex, before we left, we were talking about speaking that language and bridging that gap between the organizations and the corporate world, in particular, smaller organizations who are not the large organizations of this world. So in your services that you provide, you're coaching us, putting together a plan, getting us in the mindset. And one thing she said, something very, very important in our first segment, was everybody has to think about it. Everybody, from the receptionist to the CEO, from the project managers, project directors, all the way up the chain, the board of directors as well. Everybody has to be speaking that language. And with your organization providing those services, do you train all of us?
So what's beautiful about this is that I've been able to gather a group. I think I have about 67 people across the world who have the biggest heart, who have experience in all different areas, sectors, nonprofits, for-profits. And so we have a lot of lived, experienced humans. And what we've done is we've built a system. So this is our first product. So because we're builders of systems and infra, the whole idea is the first product is called the Development Fundraising Pipeline. So what we do is help create a roadmap for organizations. For 6 months, it's a focus of where are you at and where do you need to go? Where are you headed? We have a curriculum where we talk about mentioning scarcity versus abundance. We're really talking about where nonprofits come from and how it might repel people who are extremely interested in wanting to make a difference. There's no slowing down of people really wanting to help. We just want to make it clear. And so that's really what we're trying to do. The Development Fundraising Pipeline is lived experienced humans teaching curriculum to the organizations, and absolutely, we would teach the people who are in charge, who are face-fronting, and who are in some sort of way creating and part of the touch points with all of the different funding prospects that they don't even maybe think about, but they could be building towards.
So you said a word that made my antennae go up. The conversation that we may be actually repelling volunteers and investors, donors to our organizations. And what did you mean by that?
So I think you mentioned it earlier with the language we've been using for banking, for grants. We have complicated the way that we speak so much. Right now, there's so much noise out there that if you're not clear and if you're not concise about what you need, you're going to get lost. And so it's extremely important to ensure that you are building something and not running around like a chicken without a head with no strategy, because you might be doing incredible good in the community, but no one knows because of the way that you're spreading the way that you're doing. You might be doing incredible work, and like we said, the messaging that you're using is really not focused on that, and it just makes people not truly understand and not know how to help.
That's amazing that we actually probably thinking we're talking about, oh, how great my mission is and what we're doing and how we're serving numbers and things of that nature, but we could still be repelling the people because we don't know the proper language.
Correct.
How important is that? And now that you say that, it hits me because there's certain things that irk me when, especially that time of year, come to the last quarter, you start getting all these letters and stuff about support us, do this, do that. And one of my other guests, Yanni, was on, and she was talking about the dog commercial that comes on every Christmas.
ASPCA.
Yeah, comes on love dogs. However, that particular commercial kind of irks me because of the way that it comes at you.
Absolutely.
And not being and no shade, but not is it's not appealing to me being to me giving. It seems like it's trying to make me feel as bad as possible at the best, as my daughter loves to say, the best time of year possible, right?
Exactly.
So when we talk about our stories, and the things that we're doing in the community, we're not, as you stated earlier, we're not being clear and concise, and we're using words, phrases, terms that may actually repel donors. And and if you're being honest with yourself, you're probably not thinking, there's no way I'm saying anything that's repelling any of my donors.
Correct.
But we probably are, right?
Well, when we are in this world, and I've been in it for so many years, we're talking 23 years, it's tough to see or think that the language is English. Why? What do you mean you don't understand? And the frustration happens and nothing happens after that. Or no's happen and nothing happens after that. One no doesn't mean no forever.
Exactly.
And I think what I admire about the corporate world, about entrepreneurs, about startups, you have to get used to the word failure because 99% of startups fail, I think. So, for me, really building, I remember the volunteers. So I would get a company that was going to come and bring 75 volunteers one day, and 2 days before they would cancel. And I would say, that's okay, no worries. I understand that things happen. They would feel terrible. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they would, because the relationship was made. I would figure it out because I had a bank of 80 volunteers waiting for me to say, when do you need me? Which is what needs to happen. You need reserves in people, in funds. You need to be able to build, like I say, a garden. You can't just wait for those 10 funding sources and cross your fingers and hope that the 10 you applied to are going to happen. You have to build 250 sources, which means you have to be building touch points with these corporations and telling them and explaining to them what it is that you do so that they feel included first, so that you're not asking them for anything initially, and so that you're building an intentional strategic relationship with someone who you don't just want a one and done. You want it to stay there for years to come. So it's extremely important to be able to understand that, because if your messaging is not clear, then everything else that you're doing you're wasting your money.
So, is it a challenge for you and your folks? Is it your challenge to get the social impact organizations to change the way they think?
I think
Because we can be hard-headed.
100%.
Just being honest.
100%. I think, and when we spoke the last time, I told you, we were in one of our team meetings, and between just 5 of us, we had 110 years in experience in doing this. And so it's exciting to be able to bring people. It's not like a consultant who's never done this, a 24-year-old, I'm sorry, I don't mean to say, from humongous consulting firms who have done absolutely nothing to make change and really have have not been accountable for it because they came in and they left. We are people who have been in the sector. We all have 15 years, 20 years of
So
experience.
you felt
we
my
are,
pain before.
I speak your language. You know, I'm coming from a place where I was fortunate enough to be inside organizations and also work at Neighbors for Neighbors, which allowed me the opportunity to, our mission was connecting those in need with those who can help. And so I needed to ensure and see the whole community, not just financial literacy under my one organization. And so that really allowed me to be able to understand and apply my knowledge and my journey of translating my whole life into what I'm doing today. And so that's why I'm excited about it, because it's not people who don't know what we've been there, done that. We've done 15, 20 galas. We understand 100,000%. We've been that person, and we want people to understand that we've been that person. But if these things don't change, it will take them nowhere. They might be successful for a minute, but if they're here because they want to make a difference and want to exist after they exist, then they need to decide.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. Long-term service to the community. When I meet with the bankers and I meet with the bank presidents, they always ask me that same question. So, Cornell, when is it enough? And I always say never. Never. As long as we have a need in our communities, it will never be enough. So, one last question. And this could be personal or professional. I gave you all the power in the world. What would you do with it?
Okay. Can I say a personal and a professional?
Sure. Of course. Of course.
A personal would be to bring back my mom. I would love for her to see where I am, and I would love to be able to speak to her as an adult, because she only knew me as a rebellious teenager. And the second, I think, one of my dreams lately, I want to sit in the same room with Dario and Daniela Modei from Anthropic. I think that they are an incredible AI platform. That's the one I support. That's the one I use. And I've learned a lot about what they're doing. And one of their big issues that they've said quite recently is that they admit that they haven't really walked through the use of how AI could benefit corporations, humans, nonprofits. And they're working on it, right? Because it's new. I think what we're doing with Be Better Together is exactly that. We're walking people through and explaining to them in a way that they can understand.
Thank you for coming to the Just Economy podcast. We greatly appreciate it. Again, our guest today, Alexa Diaz Formidoni. Alexa, please give us your contact information and website.
My name is Alexa Diaz Formidoni. You'll find me on LinkedIn, and our website is www.bebettertogether.org. We are in all social media channels, Facebook, LinkedIn. You'll be able to see a lot of our videos. We're on TikTok even, and you'll be able to kind of get an experience of how we're teaching others and how we're trying to simplify philanthropy.
So, again, thank you, Alexa, for coming to the Just Economy podcast. We greatly appreciate you bringing a great service to the community, getting us out of our. I think something that Alexa also does, and she does it very, very well, is get us out of our comfort zones and getting us into these challenges that we face today. This has been the Just Economy podcast. I'm your host, Cornell Cruz Jr., Executive Director for the Community Reinvestment Alliance of Florida. We look forward to seeing you next time.